some potential great news for the low-income and fixed-income beneficiaries of Social Security retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, spousal, SSI, VA, RRB, low-income, no-income, seniors, older adults, and of course, people with disabilities, as they may be adding it in. This is some great news and some welcomed news for about 25 to 50 million people all across the country, and let's get into it and talk through the details. All right, so I do want to share with you what they are talking about and what they may be adding into a multi-trillion-dollar package here coming very, very soon, and how this may be impactful for, again, 25 to 50 million low-income households and individuals across the entire country, as it's been a couple years since a program like this was in place, but they may be bringing back something like this. And again, in my opinion, this would be awesome. This would be so nice. It was such a great program that they had around, and then they just randomly discontinued it. Gone. Sorry, you're on your own now. Well, hello. The situation financially over the last couple of years here has not gotten any better. In fact, it's probably gotten a whole lot worse over the last few years, back since like 2021, when all the inflation really took off for those few years, and we're still dealing with these high elevated prices. Low-income, fixed-income beneficiaries have virtually how much extra money? Yeah, none. The answer is none right now, and probably haven't had any extra money because it's all being siphoned away by all these higher prices for all the necessities and things like that. However, let's talk really quickly about some programs that popped up a couple years ago. They were really good while they were around, and then again, they all just kind of abruptly ended. Here's one of them that was very popular. At the time that it ended, there were about 23 plus million people, or households I should say, across the country that were enrolled in this, and then they just ended it. They just ended it one day because they said, sorry, we're out of money. And I say, no, you're never really out of money, because they have the ability to print money and just manufacture money out of nowhere. So they're never really out of money, but you know how that whole thing works. Anyway, it comes down to the ACP. Do you remember me talking about this? Affordability Connectivity Program. That is the name of this program, okay? Now, the situation is this allows for and provides free or heavily discounted internet for low-income households. Now, this actually expired back in, May of 2023, so almost a couple years ago now is when this thing actually expired. Just ended, right? Ran out of money. Sorry, we're out of here. And they just ran out of money. Well, then it ended. But there's been this talk for a little while now about bringing this program back. In fact, there's been a handful of lawmakers that have brought this back in a variety of different new ways. They've reintroduced this as a new program with new allocations, new money, the eligibility requirements, the amount of money that they would allocate toward each household each and every month. They've had all kinds of proposals on this, but there's many different lawmakers out there that are very much in support of this. However, here is the situation, okay? So in March, in the middle of March, we have, they are coming together on the 2025 federal budget, which was supposed to be done back in September of last year, right? So the end of September 2024 is when this was supposed to be done. They didn't do it. It's extended out until the middle of March. Now, that's still several weeks away from right now, but they still need to hammer out the details of it. Here's the situation. They're potentially discussing adding the extension of the ACP potentially into this. That'd be pretty nice. That'd be really nice. Now, there's a couple different iterations of this. Number one would be they may want to reduce, as in the income threshold, for people that'd be eligible for this. Now, I want to be fair with you. Back when it was in place for those couple years from back in 2020 through early 2023, I'm going to be fair with you. I don't remember the income thresholds. I think it was maybe 150% of the federal poverty line at that time. I don't remember exactly what it was. It was, a while ago now. But they're talking about potentially those individuals that have an income at or below the federal poverty line. So basically kind of making it a little bit more difficult to qualify for this. But essentially, if your income is at or below the federal poverty line, you may be eligible for this new iteration. And again, let's keep an eye on this because they're, floating a bunch of different ideas out there. They've also talked about reducing the dollar amount. Now remember, back in 2020, when they originally started this, actually, maybe it was early 2021. I don't remember exactly when they started this, but it originally started out as the broadband, or maybe it was the emergency broadband program, and then they changed it shortly thereafter to the ACP, Affordability Connectivity Program. But they also changed the dollar amount. Under the broadband program, it was originally $50 $50. And then under the ACP, it went down to $30. And then toward the very end, the very last month, they cut it in half down to $14. So, I mean, imagine that, right? But now they're talking with this new iteration, possibly making the eligibility to get this a little bit more difficult. Again, income at 100% of the federal poverty line or less, okay, or less. It's not very high, but if you're low income or you're a fixed income beneficiary, you're probably below that line. Just being real with you, okay? Especially SSI. I mean, those benefits by default are below the federal poverty line. But anyway, that's one of the iterations. But next would be potentially lowering the dollar amount. So remember, for the ACP, the Affordability Connectivity Program, they ended that program. Well, it was technically at $14 for the last month, but prior to that, it was $30 a month. But now they're talking about possibly $9.99 a month. Not a flat $10, but $9.99. Really? Really? Why can't you just give us the extra penny? At least make it $10. Just an even nice round $10. But they're, I mean, this is a real thing. I mean, seriously. They're possibly talking about $9.99, okay? So, I don't know. It just seems really ridiculous to me. Okay, but anyway, this is what they're talking about, is potentially bringing this back under the new name, whatever they would name it at that point. Maybe it's still called ACP, or they bring it back under this new program, making the eligibility standards a little bit tighter, a little bit harder to get, and then making the threshold basically $10. Now, here's the thing. When it was $50, that was awesome. That was super nice. I mean, $50 covered basically everybody's internet for the most part. Not everybody, but I mean, that covered a huge majority of it. And then when they reduced it down to 30, it's like, yeah, you know, that probably still counts a little bit. It's probably pretty helpful. It may not cover the entire internet bill on a monthly basis, but it covers the majority of it. But if they were to go down to $10 per month, it's like, I don't know. I mean, that would still be helpful. Don't get me wrong. It's $10. But at the end of the day, is it really kind of worth jumping through the hoops of applying for it, getting the program for $10 a month? I mean, is that really going to make a huge difference on somebody's internet bill and their expenditures every month? Again, it's $10. $10 is $10. Don't get me wrong. It's something. But it's kind of like you have to kind of weigh the time factor too, right? The time value of money. You might look at it and think, $10, I'm good. I'm not going to go through the situation, all the time that it takes to apply for this, to go through the hoops to get approved for it and everything like that. It may not be worth it. So at the time when the ACP ended, there were about 50 million households that were eligible for it, and only about 23-ish, maybe a little bit more than that, were actually enrolled. So more than double the amount of households that were actually enrolled were actually eligible for it. But this time, if they were to actually bring it back down to $10, or I shouldn't say back down, but if they were to really bring it down to $10, I would think that the enrollment, in other words, the number of people that actually sign up for it, I would think would probably drop significantly for the exact reason that I just said, which is it worth my time for $10 a month? I don't know. Again, everybody has to have their own opinion on that and kind of weigh the pros and cons on that and see, is it really worth their time to do that? And some people might say, it's not really worth it. $10, I'm good, right? But when it was even 30, it's like, yeah, that's probably worth it. I mean, that's going to cover the majority of your internet. And if not, at least it helps significantly. So we will see here what happens. Again, we've still got several weeks to go here until we get to this deadline. And if they add it in the first place. But this has been a point of discussion here for the last while. I mean, even before the program ended, there was so much talk. There was a lot of legislation. There were plans, proposals, concepts, ideas. There were discussions going on about how to continue to keep this program going, how to get more money into the program, and extend the program, and just change it around. Just whatever they wanted to do to it. So this has been a discussion for a while now, but here we are. This is their next opportunity to throw it in here and actually get it done if they wanted to do it by this next deadline that comes up in the middle of March. The other option would potentially be, we have this multi-trillion-dollar reconciliation bill coming as well. They could potentially add it in there. I'm going to be fair with you. I don't foresee it going into that. Reason being is they've got their other ideas that they want to add into the reconciliation bill. They've got plenty of other things there that they're working on. I don't see it for going in there. But as far as the federal budget, yeah, for sure. They could easily add it there. And honestly, it would probably get bipartisan support. It'd probably get a lot of support. There's many different lawmakers that want to reinstate this because it's keeping the country connected. At the end of the day, that's really what it comes down to. If somebody does not have access to the internet, they're, that's not a good situation. They're probably missing out on a lot of things and not having that access to a lot of things, including medical, virtual visits and stuff like that. But again, it's a situation that we're dealing with. So anyway, this is just what I've been seeing out there. We will see what happens here. Again, everything is very much fluid at this point. Things are changing, but I'll keep you posted on all this. Anyway, if I can ask a huge favor of you, please, number one, subscribe to the channel if you're new here or if you haven't done so yet. Thank you so much for being here. There's a big subscribe button down below. Please feel free to subscribe. Totally free to do so. Always has been and always will be. Thank you. I truly appreciate all of you here in this community. Thank you so much for being part of it. Also, if you can think of 1 or 2 people that benefit from this video or any of the other well over 5,000 videos here on the channel in the video library, feel free to share this video. There's a share button down below as well. It's 100% free to do so. Always has been. Again, always will be. Otherwise, check out, like I said, the well over 5,000 videos here on the channel. Otherwise, down below in the description or the top of the comment section, there are some very popular hand-selected videos for you there. Check those out. Or right now, popping up on the screen as well, you'll see some videos showing up there. Thank you so much. Take your selection now, and I'll see you again soon.